Okay, so we're going to create a new document in Adobe Illustrator. So I'm just going to go to Adobe Illustrator icon, or you can find it in your Applications folder. And I'm just going to open up Adobe Illustrator. Might take it a minute. Loading fonts, palettes, that kind of thing. Okay, so one of the first things I'm going to do is go to File, New, and create a new document. Don't worry about the name yet. We'll do that, take care of that here in just a little bit. We're just going to set up a letter size document, just like that. Leave these settings kind of where they're at. They'll be fine for now. And you'll end up with a document that looks like this, a blank document. And that's fine, because that's going to give us some space to work in. It's going to kind of move my palettes around. And let's take a look at the toolbox. Okay, so we're going to create a simple composition using the rectangle tool. If you'd like to see what type of tools these are, please just mouse over them and they will kind of tell you what tool is what. And you might want to visit the lynda.com videos to kind of get a better idea about what those tools do. Today we're going to be using the rectangle tool, and the fill, I'm going to take the stroke off. Let's not use any strokes. You can play with the strokes today if you want, but I'm just going to use fills. Okay, so one of the first things I'm going to do is click the rectangle tool, and right now it's set to fill to white, so I'm going to choose a color. I'm just going to double click and choose, let's say, a red color. That looks pretty good. Make sure you got the rectangle tool selected. Also, under the rectangle tool, you'll find other tools. We'll use those here in just a little bit, just probably the ellipse tool. So I'm going to grab the red fill with a rectangle, and I'm just going to click and drag and draw a rectangle. Now, once you draw that, you can grab any of these nodes on the rectangle, these little nodes right here. You can kind of scale your object or your element. Okay, if you'd like to change the color, just double click while it's selected. You can see it's selected here, and we will just choose a blue color. Okay, once you're happy with that, I'm just going to kind of do that. Once you're happy with that, then just click off of it so that it's deselected. Then I'm going to click the rectangle tool, choose another color, I don't know, purplish color, and draw another rectangle. Okay, one other thing you can do is you can just go ahead and draw some rectangles like this. And I'm just going to kind of fill the area up a bit. And you can go past the pasteboard on this exercise, meaning past that black line there. That's really the end of the document. But if you want to go past the end of the document or the pasteboard a little bit, that's fine. Okay, so let's say we want to change some of these colors. I'm just going to click the square that I want to change, and then I'll just go over here and double click and pick another color. There we go. And let's leave that one that color. Let's pick like a yellowish. I'm just going to go in the rainbow here. Color picker, pick a yellow. Let's make this one like an orangish color. Get down in there. You can also move inside this picker as well. And let's make that one kind of a purplish, more darker purple. And let's make that one, I don't know, light. I don't know, blue. That looks good. I'm going to leave that one kind of where it is. And what we want to do is fill up this whole area. So I'm going to actually use some circles. And again, I'll just choose a color here, double clicking, choosing a color. And I'm just going to draw some circles. Again, you don't have to choose the color right off the bat. You can always change it. I'm just going to kind of position these. We'll learn how to control these a little later on in the class, but I'm just going to draw some shapes, some big shapes, and I'm going to try to fill up some area. Now I'm going to change some of the colors on that as well, so I'll just go in here. Let's try a green color, and let's change. I'm just, picking some colors that I like. That'll look good. And let's make a, I don't know, let's go with an orangish color there. And I'm just try not to make too many of the same colors because I'm just kind of experimenting with placement and kind of balance and spacing. Okay, because we were talking about proportion and space. I'm just trying to fill up the space and get a good idea about how things are placed. Now, one of the things I'm going to do here is to give it a little more interest is I'm going to select one of the objects and I'll take, this is the opacity or the transparency, and I'm just going to reduce that a little bit so you can kind of see that it's going to give it, let some of the things behind it show through. Okay, and one of the things we can do is, let's say we want this object to go back to the back. I'm just going to object arrange. Now we can send it all the way to the back, or we can send it backward one object. Basically the stacking order is as we draw them. So the last thing I drew is the very top layer, so I'm just going to send that all the way to the back, and it's all the way to the back of the document, and you can see it's kind of transparent there. Send it all the way back there. There we go. Okay, I just sent it back one so you can kind of see what happened there. Alright, so I'm going to send this one back all the way to the back. Okay, so you can kind of see it's going behind some of these other objects. And I think I have enough circles, so I'm going to go back to the rectangle tool and kind of fill up some of these other areas. You can kind of see that's on top of everything, and I'll just send it to the back to kind of fill up those white areas. So what we're trying to do here is fill up the whole area with color. Object range, I'll send that to back. And if I don't like the color, then I'll just go and change it real quick, something like that. And just filling up this whole space. We talked about space in the lesson. And I just want to make sure that everything is, all the white is covered, just so, just make it look a little better. And that yellow, I'm just going to pull it off the edge of the document, which is right there. And that's a nice color. I think I'll just kind of put it down here and kind of use it in that area. So just kind of do that. And I need one more shape, probably right there, to kind of fill that area. So let's pull a blue color, and I'll put it there, and I'll just go ahead and send it to the back. Okay. So then I'm just going to experiment with some transparency, just to kind of get a nice, I don't know, kind of depth look feel to it. Let's see how that's working there. It's kind of cool. I'll just work the transparency and the opacity till we kind of get a nice kind of contemporary art kind of look to it. Okay. Anytime you want to change something, you can click on it and drag it wherever you want. You can change the size or the proportion. Okay, we can do that. And that looks pretty good. Now, when I'm happy with my composition, I'm just going to file, save. Now, when you go to save this, I would create a desktop folder. I'm going to go to the desktop here, and I'll create a new folder, and I'll call it Rocky Mountain College Art Design Assignments. And we want to make sure that we try to keep everything in one folder for our assignments so we can always find them. And I'm just going to call this Assignment 1. We'll talk a little bit more about file management as we're kind of going, but I'm just going to call it Assignment 1, and you can see that it's saved as an Adobe Illustrator file. That's great, because that's the native file. So if we want to come back and edit it, we're going to save it in that format. We can also save it in different versions. Just go ahead and save it in an Illustrator CC or whatever version you might have. Just go ahead and save that. Okay, we really don't want to upload this as a final assignment. The AI is really not the best format just to look at. We could send this to other people, they could edit it, but we just want other people to take a look. So I'm going to go to File and Export, and I'm going to go find that desktop folder, and it's right here. And you might want to create some subfolders, maybe week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. But today I'm just going to save my first assignment in my RMCAD assignments, and let's save it as a JPEG. Now we have lots of other options. We have PDFs and some other versions here, but I just want to save it as a JPEG. It's going to be easiest to really upload this to the assignment tab, and then everybody else can take a look at it. And we're going to critique this next week, so I'm just going to export and just kind of leave it set to where it is. That's fine. And it's going to take it a minute, and it should be done. Now I'm pretty much complete in Illustrator, so I'm going to go ahead and quit Illustrator. Alright, now I'm going to go to my desktop, and let's just kind of take a look, preview of the JPEG. There you go. There's your first work of art in Illustrator. It's kind of neat. And we have the native file, which is the Adobe Illustrator file, the AI file, which we can always double click and reopen Adobe Illustrator to edit it. You can see it right there. That's what's happening. Or we can can't really edit that JPEG. It's pretty much a flattened image. So if we're going to change this composition, we're going to have to open up Illustrator again. You'll see here it should open the document. We're going to have to open up Adobe Illustrator, and then we can go in and re-edit it and save it back out. So if you're wanting a file, so you can see I can go back in and start changing things again. Okay, I'm going to save that. There we go, and I'm going to quit Illustrator. And that's the one I want to upload to the for the assignment. That one right there, not this one. If you upload this one again, that's editable. That's the native. This is the JPEG flattened, and you can see it's only 1.3 meg. Sometimes these files can get pretty large, but that's not too bad. Okay, so that's your first little assignment. Create a little work of art in Adobe Illustrator.